All right.
Sliding into home plate like we don't care.
We got all this extra time. I mean, at least 30 extra seconds.
I was here for a whole minute. And
with a latte.
I know, it's a latte. So
I'm still at the point where I have to cancel my directions on how to get here. Shane, here we are live with so much to talk about.
Shane, are we on your... Hey, I like that.
You like that view right there?
Yeah.
Does he?
It's new.
You got both of you.
Yes, and
That's
I'm going to
new.
go in it. Oh, it makes me look as fat as I really am. I have to find Shane and share this, right? Or TPS Media. Here we go.
Here we go.
Our fans are used to saying, well, there's
Yeah,
these guys
whatever.
who
You
are
guys don't.
acting normal.
Not really.
Big shocker. There we are. Share. And just some heavy breathing. So this is like Tumblr.
Yeah, it's like we are. It's like Tumblr. Or is it, what is that one thing? What is it?
Well, you're on
That
Grindr.
dating-
You're
Is
on
that what it
Grindr.
is?
I'm on Tumblr.
My wife's listening to this. Do not. She doesn't even understand.
Like I've said out loud before, your wife does not
I just
worry
told her it's a
about
way
other
it's
women.
just a way to meet people.
Your
that's all.
wife all weekend was asking, "Where's the pictures of the dog?"
Right, exactly.
Yes. Bless her heart. All right, Mike, welcome back.
Hey,
Welcome back, voice in the corner that keeps us on track. Yeah.
Pleasure to have you guys.
I always forget people can't hear you. You're a magical voice only in our heads. Kind of like the one that tells me I should have a podcast.
Yeah.
I only hear that voice in my head. All right, Mike, let's jump in.
what are we talking about?
We're going to go a little bit backwards time frame. We'll skip Barcelona for a minute, but
All right.
because, you know, I like to beat that dead horse called medical skills, right?
Let's do it.
What'd you do last weekend? Or I should say Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
So I was co-teaching a defensive firearms coaches certification course. That's
Yes.
a mouthful to say.
It is
but
a
yeah.
mouthful. So is my Purple Monster that we're
Yeah.
not sponsored by.
So, that was a good 3 days. It's good to teach teachers
Yeah.
because not only does it make you incredibly nervous that you may screw something up and like screw their life up forever by putting out wrong info, but you can actually, you learn by teaching. So,
Yeah, you think.
and getting some updates and stuff like that. So it was good for me.
Sure. There was, we had most people here from Iowa, one guy from Illinois. That was a wide variety of people.
Yeah, a lot of different backgrounds. We had a couple guys with former instructional experience, 2 people that have familiar with the material but no really instructional experience, and then a guy from Illinois. I don't think he had much experience in either.
But he was a teacher or
Yeah,
administrative.
he was his job was to be a teacher or an administrator.
Like you
yeah.
said, is if you just gave that guy something to talk about, he could speak very well.
Yeah, he wasn't afraid to be in front of people, which is the biggest thing, right? Anybody, I'm not going to
Now
say
it's
anybody, I'm saying most people can teach if you're not scared to talk,
Sure.
and you just got to learn the material.
Yeah. So I think they'll do well. I think you did well, but I agree with you. Generically, I could say that I knew everything you were going to teach, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't awesome to hear you teach it, hear people ask questions. It's no different than an actual gun class. Like, there's a lot of learning that goes on when people ask questions, and you're like, well, where's that come from? Why are you thinking that?
Then you kind of got to expand your own knowledge, or at least articulate your own knowledge. You may know, but if you can't put it out, kind of like I'm stumbling over my own words right now.
You mean people that are super good at something, it's kind of important they know how to transfer that knowledge?
Right. So just because you're good at something doesn't mean you're a good teacher.
I've
Heard that before? Yeah.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
I also went through the first part of my life saying those that can't do teach. I used to regurgitate that too. How do you feel about that now?
I don't feel that's particularly valid. Not saying that I can't do. Personally, I'm great at everything. But
there you go. Now Special Forces Mike finally shows up.
No.
After
No.
seven-
In all serious note.
what are we, like 17
We're
months
like
into the
17.
podcast,
Yeah.
and finally he's like, I'm a badass warrior.
There we go. Drinking my latte.
No, I like Jamie Onion, who came in. He was the big dog that came in to oversee that whole
Yeah,
thing.
he's the
and
program director for the course.
that sounds better.
Yes.
Program director. Hi, Jamie, if you're watching out there driving around in a squad car yelling at people. No, but I like it. We're going to air some laundry here, and he's going to say, what the hell were you doing talking about that? I just like that he said, Mike doesn't really get rattled about anything, does he? I'm like, no, he doesn't. So I don't think you're a kind of guy that rattles easy, unless people talk about going to training and then they don't do it.
Yeah, that rattles me.
I know
Oh,
it
it
does.
just irritates me.
I know it does.
Yeah.
Well, again, I'm looking forward to seeing the people that you signed off on or in the it's one of those things that's still up in the air.
Yeah, their written tests, I don't think the results is
yeah.
been put out yet.
You and I have been there, right?
Yep.
You like leave class, you're like, I spent 3 days and all this money, and I don't know if I get to do anything. But you know, you and I have already gone through that to be able to tell them that it was only a matter of days, and especially weeks, that it sank in that I still experienced like gaining all this knowledge.
Yeah,
And
it's still you still own the knowledge.
sure.
And that's one thing I like about ICE is, you know, they make it very clear that they want you to share that knowledge,
Yep.
whether you're certified, you know, quote unquote, or not.
Yep.
That it's now your knowledge, it's in your brain, so go ahead and you know, put it out. You just can't officially say that this is coming from them, right?
Yeah, unless you do it right.
Unless you do it right.
If you do it right, you can say it's coming from
Yeah,
them.
and just kind of go back to that whole, you know, you got to be a good teacher and not necessarily have to perform everything kind of thing. Jamie really kind of made a good analogy. Like if you were a swimmer, an Olympic level swimmer, and then suddenly you got in a car accident and you only had one arm, you could still teach people to swim,
Sure.
right? So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good analogy.
Yeah. Nope. Very good. Look, Todd Natham joined us.
Hey, Todd
I
Nathan.
don't know if that was a wise choice. We'll talk about him. Yeah, Todd was one of the guys in that class. That was awesome. Like you said, there was people there with previous training experience, as in they train other people and have their own little gig. And it was neat to see people like that show up. I saw the other guy in the red Jeep today drive by me.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so, hey,
You get-
look, 4 views. Is one of those you, Shane?
No, you actually have 13 people watching.
Oh, my God,
All right.
13 people. You better up your performance.
You have 2.6 thousand.
Yeah.
2.6 thousand.
2.6 thousand people saw it.
And
I
how
wonder if
many?
we
How
changed
many
any-
people did we have in our last class?
Why do I pay to do this so I can talk to 2,600 people? What class?
The class that we didn't have because
Yeah,
nobody signed
there
up.
was no one, yeah.
Oh yeah, that
So,
one.
2,600 people listened. Nobody went to the class. So that's like one of those things. You know how people say they like honesty? They like you to be honest.
This is
They
gonna be
don't-
an honest podcast right
yeah,
now.
they don't really like honesty, do they?
We're gonna be angry.
Yeah. No, and you know what people take as angry is like, hey, I won't, like, you know, TPS is super fair to us, and this is like an awesome setup and an awesome place, but we pay to come here, and when I say hear ourselves talk, that's all we're doing when people don't show up and like go to classes.
Yeah.
And then people say, all you want to do is sell classes. No, I mean, if you're like in Watertown, South Dakota, and you said, you know what? After the guys talked about, you know, a spree killer or some type of massive injuries, I should go get a medical class. And so they go to their Mike McAmeal in Watertown, South Dakota. You and I would consider like score, right?
Right.
We did
Exactly.
something. What we don't ever know is if anybody's doing anything. So
You know, I mean, I'm gonna ask you this question because I was thinking about this the other day.
careful because it's honest
It is.
Friday.
It's Honest Friday.
HF. Yep.
HF, is that the new thing?
Yeah.
It's H. Okay.
Ready?
Hashtag HF.
'Kay.
All right. So we all know that and you're gonna talk about this a little later. The firearms industry has experienced a slump because of the perceived protections that President Trump is going to give us, right?
It's called spiraling downward on fire.
Which he has not done a thing, by the way. Just for
I don't blame him for anything.
yeah, I don't blame him for anything. I do.
I mean, it truly isn't. Has the firearm slumped since he took over? Yes. Is it his fault, or is it those people?
well,
we
that's
talk
where
about?
my question was going. So let's put that aside.
Okay,
So
because I'll be the guy that defends Trump today, and people can get mad, but
do you,
I'm saying
do
in
you
this
think,
context.
Do you think? So we've all heard of Dunning-Kruger. People throw it around in the training industry all the time. So if you don't know what that is, it's a
Jesse Lennox taught me
yeah,
that on this podcast.
It's an effect, or it's a way of thinking where people that are poorly skilled or low skilled think they're better than they are.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that effect has intensified, and people are feeling like they don't need to do training because of the political environment?
No. How's
No?
that for an answer? Like I said,
I think
so-
we need to talk more, or we're not going to fill up all our time.
No, we're going to talk more. Here's what I think. So first of all, when people like, do I blame the president? So it's Trump. That's current administration, whatever. Do I blame him for the lack of gun sales? No. Guess what? I also don't count on him for it. You know, that should be based off customer service. He doesn't create the market demand. Now, if you had an administration that got on there and people can say, oh, he does that, and I'm going to say you're full of crap. I'll say crap today instead of that other word. He isn't on there saying, oh, my God, people are trying to kill you left and right. Oh, my God, you know, look at the crime rates up. Oh, my God, there's going to be a terrorist in Lindale Mall tomorrow, so you guys should be training. He's not running around doing that. He's not creating it. And people say that, you know, they talk about, oh, he's causing all this hatred. that stuff's been in people's minds and hearts for a long time. I don't care about the Trump slump in gun sales, as in, does it affect the outcome of my store? It could. But what makes people come to my store would be like, hey, do you have the kind of things I like? And are your employees knowledgeable? And hey, do you offer these services? What I do believe in, and you and I have talked about this. So I never ran around screaming at everybody saying, oh my God, President Obama is going to take your guns away. That dude never passed a single federal law that had anything to do with gun ownership.
True.
Really.
True.
So, and then you can get into the fact where he signed off on, hey, if you are, remember the whole thing we talked about vets, if you need assistance, and if you're any kind of assistance, what am I looking for? If you were disabled.
Oh, you're
Just
talking
same
about
thing with the Social Security.
right.
Yeah. So when people can say that.
So if you're judgmentally,
Yeah.
excuse me, mentally defective, but not by a
not by a court
professional,
system. Yeah. Not by the judicial system.
Right.
So, and like you and I talked about that, is there vets that are irresponsible with their checkbooks so they need help?
Yes. They're called privates.
Yes, there
Yes.
you go. So I knew he would spit up coffee or some other substance in the corner. But so here's the thing. And so the last president didn't take away our guns, and this president isn't like handing them out. So when people say, oh, well, why are sales down? Sales are down because the mentality of a whole bunch of people, and a whole bunch of those people happen to be in the gun world. That it's all okay now because we have.
That's exactly what I'm talking about,
I know.
though. So
You
he's
told me to talk and take up
So
time.
he's not doing it. But do you think the attitude or the environment is such that people feel like, oh, I don't need to get training anymore because we're good to go?
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
Yeah, but do you agree? Do you think that's what's going on or no?
But he's not doing that.
Okay.
It's the gun people doing that.
Okay, why are they doing
And I don't
that?
want to lump them all together. Like, don't judge all.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the vast majority of gun people.
Why are they doing that, though? What do you,
And they can all boycott me, and I'll be gone tomorrow. That's all right. I'll mow
It's all right.
lawns. I'll mow lawns for a living.
it's all right.
So
$25 a lawn, that's what I pay.
I talked to another guy.
If
here
you're 8
in-
years old, it's pretty good money.
Hey, yeah. It actually sounds really good to me right now. So I talked to a guy from another place in Iowa, a very respected place, and I'm not going to name because it's not, I'm not putting his opinion on here by name. But I laugh and I'm like, dude, you're like a brother from another mother. Is he said, hey, all these gun people want to say, awesome, we literally have twice the guns we used to, and factually, if you want to go back and look, since only about 2005, as many guns have been sold from then until now than there was all the way up until then. So you have doubled the amount of guns in America. All kinds of different pro-gun groups will brag about all the new owners, and there's new owners, right? There's people from the left. There's these people.
Sure,
those
we've had a pretty good, successful run of pro-gun legislation and other things like that. Yeah.
So regardless if you hate Ernie or don't know Mike or you don't like those CVO guys, blah, 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 why isn't every other training course filled up if we have all these new gun owners?
Well, that's my
So
question.
I'm not going to pretend like I'm that important and it's only me, but do you and I know most of the people in Eastern Iowa that do firearms training?
I would say we know a fair majority of them.
And I know a lot of them personally.
Yeah.
And I know some of them.
Like it's a small group.
It is a small group. So, and then of course you have, like, let's say NRA basic pistol. I would even love to see that be filling up, right? Now, do I think that is quality training for the use of a defensive firearm? No, I don't. Is it a safe way to be introduced to guns? Sure. It's a step.
And I think that's its purpose.
That is its purpose.
I mean, I don't know if the NRA portrays himself as a defensive firing course for the basic pistol course, or if people just perceive that.
But Iowa says it's good
yeah,
enough to get
but
you carry a
Iowa,
permit.
so
Which you have
yeah.
to remember, I agree with, because I don't think there should be a class at all. I don't like government standards because they don't follow their own standards. And like we talked about, if you set the bar here, they'll just jump over it, maybe hit the bar and not knock it off the little hooks that hold it and say, I'm good, right? It's all the training they ever need.
Most people do.
Sure. So you and I and several people have said, I want the people that want training. Now I'm just, like I said, hey, let's pay lots of money every month. Let's have a podcast. Let's reach a bunch of people and talk about things. And when people, I'm disappointed in it. I'm disappointed locally that there's not more people. Your medical class, your CPR class, how come there's not more people in that?
It was ludicrous, man.
Yeah.
I'm not disappointed.
You are disappointed.
I'm very irritated.
You are
there's a
disappointed
difference.
because here's the point. the skills that you teach in that class, have you ever actually personally used them to save a life?
Well, yeah, I have. And people are going to say, oh, that's because it's your job. Well, yeah. But all those situations that I had to use those skills, somebody was there before me.
Yeah.
Somebody, family member.
We couldn't make that up better. 'Cause
Community-
that's where I was
yeah.
going to go.
Oh, wow.
When you went to a place that maybe involved some farm machinery, was there someone there before you?
Yep,
And if you hadn't showed up soon, would that guy be dead?
probably.
Yeah. That was massive blood loss.
Yep.
So you're exactly right. And watching, I guess we'll kind of, slide into the Barcelona thing, but some people don't like watching the pictures and videos, and I get it. Even my wife, who has seen way more death in her lifetime than I have, she deals with it all the time. She's like, why do you watch that? It's depressing and this and that. And I watch it because you have to look at it. It has to be like an after-action report, right? Like, what went wrong? And even this guy, what'd this guy do different? Now, it's going to sound like a trick question. I'm going to ask the voice in the corner. What'd this guy do different when he drove through the crowd that you haven't heard of yet from the other ones? How do you maximize his opportunity? You haven't been watching that?
I haven't been watching.
Swerved back and forth to get through more people, right?
Right.
So you go all the way back to France and the other ones where they just plow it in
London.
In London. France was the big, remember the
Truck.
the big truck?
Truck.
It's like,
Yep, North Carolina, yep.
sure. So, and I don't even know that dude's deal, like, let alone he needs to trip and fall down an elevator shaft. I can't even quite figure out that deal. So, but anytime you give your cat to your mom and drive from Ohio down to there, there's probably something up.
Or are you
right?
talking about Virginia?
Yeah.
It's mo-
I thought Charlottesville.
No, it's Virginia. It's Virginia. Yeah.
So tomorrow we talk about geography. So all I'm saying is, why do I watch these videos? You look and you say, wow, look at this body. Not moving, nobody helping. You kind of, even in the untrained world, and I'm not saying I'm trained, when there's a body laying there and people are not talking to it or touching it or anything, but they're helping other people, you kind of tell yourself that one's gone, right? Probably a little,
Right. You would
some
think.
type of triage.
You would think.
So it's depressing, how much massive blood loss. I recently got to experience free training. See, I love free training. I had to recertify CPR through the police department. Hiawatha Fire Department taught it. Lady named Shelby, who's awesome.
Yay, Shelby.
And Fireman Dan.
Yay, Fireman Dan.
Yes. So, after the CPR was over, she did the new Stop the Bleed, which you teach also, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. So, good course.
I think so.
Every cop in the world should know it.
I think everybody should know it.
There you go. And that's the whole thing, is when she was trying to describe it, it's new to her too, right?
Yeah.
So she can be listening and she can say, don't talk. Is the whole goal when she said, I was even trying to follow along saying, okay, well, they're wanting us to get out and teach this to as many people as possible. Sitting at a fire department, doing training with the police department, even in my mind, I thought they were saying, like, we need all the cops to go through this, right? We need more, and it finally took me a while to realize that, no, they're actually, true or false, are they promoting this program as go out and teach it to everyone you
Yeah.
can?
So, the medical class I've been teaching for, 2 years now?
Yeah.
It is including...
I can't remember because I wasn't in the last one because it didn't happen.
Touche.
Yeah.
Touche. So that stuff has been incorporated in it. Stop the Bleed is endorsed, though, by the American College of Surgeons. And yes, they want to make it just as prevalent as CPR training. That's the goal. Like, everybody should know CPR. Everybody should know how to stop the bleed. That's what they're trying to promote. So yeah, everybody.
Let's make that happen.
Yeah, anytime. Like,
So
get some people to show up and say, "I'll take a class." And
Which one's my camera? I like to
that one right there.
Yeah. So
there
I'm
you
gonna
go.
look over there and tell everybody. Here's what we're gonna do. I'll come up with a very typical Ernie style crazy event that I will even give away something cool. I don't know what it is yet, but it'll be cool. And we're gonna see how many people we can get to attend and actually go through and learn those skills. Like, I'll rent a really big place and we're gonna have a medical Spartie. That's what we're gonna do.
Spartie.
A Spartie. Super party, man. Spartie. Yep. Sure. Don't act like you don't know what that is. I don't even know. He's got
that would
whiskey
be
in his
great.
coffee cup. He knows what a
4
Spartie
hours
is.
of your time save a life, huh?
Yeah. 4 hours of your time that could save multiple lives.
Yep.
4 hours of your time that could help you save a mom's life that helps make 2 or 3 children's lives better. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Yep. you could save the life of a person who goes on and has a child that's like the smartest person in the world.
That's pretty
Not like
deep.
a
That's
person
pretty
that
deep,
says,
man.
I'm really, 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 really smart. Not like that kind of smart person. but
Like I
maybe
just did a little bit ago.
Mike's medical class is
Hey,
really,
let's-
really, really, really good.
Let's look at some questions
There's
here.
questions? Well, that's Todd saying it to instead of training. Oh, what
So
did you-
Blake is a friend of mine, Blake Hiller. He's an officer down there in Iowa County. He says 1/4 of the county is watching now that Evan is. So between him and Evan, that's 1/4 of the county.
That's awesome. I don't know if I've met Blake. Thanks for putting this back. Oh, Lonnie's here. We should talk about levers and buttons and switches.
We
Lonnie
should.
and we talk about Berettas and stuff a lot.
Oh yeah.
Beretta 92 FS. I promised I would never bring that up again.
Preferred gun of Illinois, apparently.
Yeah, it's all right. He'll get over it. All right. So anyway, tell me about how most people think they're better than they really are.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
Sure.
to go around and around the block like we just did, like we usually do. I
big
think
block.
Yeah, it's a pretty big block. I think most people think they're better than they are, but they don't ever pressure test anything.
No.
You can't find out how good you really are until you get a. That's the the cycle of teaching and evaluation is what you have to.
You just gave me a great topic, but keep going. No, really.
Okay.
I can do 8 things at once.
8 things at once. So, I mean, unless you evaluate, like if you do any kind of sport or anything like that, they have scrimmages because you can't. I mean, you can practice all day, white shirts against red shirts, offense versus defense.
But wait a minute, you know each other's game plan,
Yeah. So until you,
and you're not allowed to hit the quarterback.
you're not allowed to hit the quarterback. But until you try to impose your will on somebody that's not participating in your plan, you're not going to know how good your skills are.
Sounds like my love life with my wife.
Yeah, I know.
Impose my will on someone else that has a different plan. Come on, it's a family show.
It is a family show.
I think he just spit up his whiskey out of his coffee cup again. All right. So here's the problem. You made me think of an awesome subject. Are you ready? I'm going to say the video. Was it yesterday? So I posted a video that was uploaded by Iowa Public Radio. They're doing a week-long story about gun owners in Iowa,
Saw it.
right? You
Yep.
saw it.
Saw it.
Did you watch the fiasco that happened right after that?
Like on the video or in the comment
The
section?
comment section.
Yeah, the comment section is always kind of a shit show.
Yeah.
And no matter what the subject
He
is.
said shit show, so I'm in now.
I did. You're
I'm
in.
all the way.
I broke the dam.
Wow.
I'm the spark.
It's Honest Friday. All right.
I'm the spark.
I'm just looking for an opportunity to say that word again. All right.
So anyway,
So here we go. First of all, it's funny. When I say I don't care what the rest of the world thinks, I'm going to say most people out there listening don't know me as well as you do.
yeah, until you've texted back and forth in the morning at like 2 o'clock because neither
Yeah.
one of you are asleep. Yeah, that's when you get to know people.
We've stayed in the same room together
We have.
with a strange, better yet, with a strange dude sleeping in our kitchen.
I know.
I don't have a room. Can I stay with you guys? Yeah, if we can point guns at you all night, you're welcome.
It's cool. It's cool.
Hey, help people out. So, do you think I said anything critical of the girl performing in the video?
No, you didn't.
Do you think what I wrote was meant as constructive criticism of, hey, the video doesn't make much sense when we have no idea what the parameters are?
Yeah, I mean, what you said is exactly what you meant.
And going by the actual words put up there from Iowa Public Radio, if you go through a scenario, I'm going to pretend like the guy in the corner knows something about scenario
So
training.
why don't you explain to
scenario.
I'm going to call these guys CVO Nation. Can I do that?
CVO Nation?
That's what I'm calling them.
okay.
Can you explain to CVO Nation what the videos was? I mean, what happened? Because they may
They
not
can
have seen
watch it. It's on there.
it. Yeah, but explain real quick. I mean, we got time.
Okay. All right. So you have a young lady going through a simulator, and even printed up there, it says she'd already gone through it once, and she got shot in the last scenario.
So the scenario was a shoot, no shoot scenario, big video screen. She
Sure.
had a laser gun or something.
Sure.
And she was supposed to react to something.
There you go.
Okay.
So you got to remember, they make it clear this is round 2. She'd
Yes.
already done it once,
Yep.
and she got shot.
Yep. So negative
so
reinforcement
now
up to that point.
And it is negative reinforcement,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Is that like dopamine and a learning lesson?
Yeah,
and
all that
Is
stuff
how that
happens.
works?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
So
I like dopamine.
it's amazing how you remember things when it doesn't go well. So And so they have her do the same scenario again, simulation. So if you already know the outcome, you don't have to process any information to know how it's going to end, right?
Right.
So what does it lead to? It leads to her, like, again, it's a simulation of supposedly a real life situation.
And let's make it clear, we're not criticizing her.
No,
She's trying to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can get there.
Yeah.
She's the one trying to fight this whole effect of I think I'm better than I am, right?
Yep.
So I'm out getting training.
Yes.
But I'm getting training that's put me in a situation that's not making me process information like real life. So I'm not ripping on her. And as a matter of fact, maybe her friend that wrote me like this message that said I'm a mean guy and all can listen in and understand what I'm about to say. What I'm really going to pick on is the people that made comments both on the Iowa Public Radio ones, which are pretty harsh, and some of them true, and on the CVO one. So first of all, good on her for going out and trying to get training. But everyone should know to go through a simulator or a scenario, which are awesome. Simulation, those are awesome. Go through it one time and then pick a different scenario. Otherwise, it's no good if you know what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, that's literally like, first of all, are you allowed to run away? Yeah, then you should run away. If that's part of the scenario that you can just clear out, then do that.
Remind me to come back to the whole runaway thing in a minute.
Okay, all right. Real men run away, right? So let's go back to the thing. Like I said, she'd already gone through it once. She got shot. Now she's going through it time number 2. So literally in the video that you can watch for yourself and see that I'm not making up anything, a guy is walking in front of her car, left or right, as in the car's on the screen facing toward us. It's combat parked somewhere, and this guy's walking by.
Probably a fireman.
And she proceeds to pull her gun out and say, "Sir, step away from my vehicle or get away from my vehicle," something like that. If I'm walking through a parking lot, several feet in front of another vehicle, walking past it, and you point a gun at me and tell me to get away from your vehicle. Now, is my first instinct going to be to draw and shoot you? No, I'm going to get the hell out of here because you seem like a crazy person making irrational decisions. But what I tried to make clear to some of the people that wrote me hate mail was, when they were like, oh, she shouldn't have done this, she would go to prison, and they didn't like that. Here's the thing. You would have gone to prison. So in the scenario, the guy draws his gun and shoots at her. Like literally 1 or 2 seconds after that. So
because this is Tombstone.
Yeah. So
at high noon.
Sure. So here's my point is, it's not picking on her to say it does no good to go through the scenario twice. Everything I said is factually true. If you brandish a firearm and point it at me for walking past your car between you and it in a parking lot, that's called brandishing a firearm. So when people say, yeah, but
that's
if she
frowned
waited
on in this establishment.
It is.
It is.
So then you watch some of the super keyboard ninjas on CVO that chime in and say, well, in real life, you can't wait until you get shot. If you waited any longer, you would have got hurt. If you waited, guess what? That's called real freaking life. That's why you need medical class.
That's called action beats reaction.
So,
and that's kind of a no-win situation, honestly.
It's a no-win, and that's the situation good people are in, right?
Yes.
Like, if you think you're going to see it coming every time, you're crazy. And if you think, the same people that chime in and make those comments about how, well, she had to do it that fast or she would have got shot. We don't know she would have got shot. You only know she was going to get shot because you already saw the scenario once. She already went through it once. So I care just as much about her going to prison for the rest of her life for doing the wrong thing than getting shot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and you're building negative, I said negative reinforcement, but even in that scenario when she was, quote unquote successful the second time, you're building bad habits.
That is a bad.
It's a very bad habit.
It's called a prison habit.
Right.
They got habits there too, but it's harder to fulfill because it's contraband. So, they don't know me. The people that were in that video don't know me. I guarantee you, they don't come to our training, haven't been to our training, and this isn't a us versus them anything. I will pay public radio, put the thing up on there. But here's the thing: is scenarios and simulations don't do any good unless you only get to go through it one time. Let it be a life lesson that if you do poorly, you will think about that for a long time and what you could have done different. It doesn't do any good for having Mike run you through it until you do it right when it takes 5 times to do it right. That's different than people say, what if I was running, what if I'm running a mill machine? Shouldn't I learn to do it until I do it right? Yeah, that's a job. It's something you're going to perform every day. What I'm trying to make clear to people is processing information in something like that setup of do I shoot or do I not shoot? It doesn't do any good to run you through one scenario over and over and over until you supposedly get it right, because the answer in that scenario was always going to end up being to shoot, right? Based on what they were doing.
Well, I mean, the difference is, like your examples, running a milling machine is a complex set of motor skills, right? Mm-hmm. The scenario is processing of information. So we can practice our motor skills.
Mm-hmm.
Processing of information is something that you can't. I don't know if I'm going to say you can't practice it, but it's going to be different.
Oh, you can practice it.
It's
but
not
you
going to
have
be the same set of inputs every time.
You have to practice it in a different scenario every
Right,
time.
right.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's called like a figure eight drill, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. So here's my point. Meanwhile, why I offered lots of free training to women. Remember that when I had a website?
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember when we tried to get people to come to a really good educational carry class and learn a lot about laws?
Yeah, I remember that.
Have you sat through my carry class?
I have multiple times.
Have you helped teach it?
I have multiple times.
Would it be super clear in there that you should not pull your gun and point it at somebody in a parking lot walking by your vehicle?
I believe it's pretty clear.
Okay, so that might be some important information. So the thing is people need to separate the fact. And here's another eye-opening experience for her and her friends who chimed in. The girl that's actually in the video chimes in on the CVO page.
Oh, really?
Which,
Okay.
Yeah. Go read it, whatever. I told her, thanks for chiming in and all that. I wish her all the best luck. And I think I even sent her friend a message saying the two of you can come to class for free. For free. So they can be
That's
mad.
zero.
They can be mad, or they could come to a class for free and maybe learn a different way or a different skill set, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Based on the gun world, will they show up and come to training?
I'm guessing no.
Okay. So my point to them was her friend was defending her and say she really doesn't want all this criticism. This isn't good and this isn't that. I get that the criticism sucks. I guess then if you couldn't take any criticism, don't let Iowa Public Radio put it out for the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then people like me are going to pass it on. We're going to talk about it. Second of all, I'm glad that criticism's coming only after a scenario, a simulator, where she didn't go to prison.
Right. Instead
That
of in
would be
real
the-
life.
That would be the best kind of criticism to get. Or you could be the local officer who had to shoot somebody in real life and face criticism for the rest of your life about a situation that other people have most likely never been in. That's like real life criticism that affects your life, right?
Yeah.
Your workplace, quality of life, stuff like that. Ability to go out in public. Ask Darren Wilson how that job's working out in law enforcement, right? Even though most people don't know him. So here's the thing. Most of the gun world, I've come to the conclusion, does not want to train. Most of the gun world wants to
That's
target
a
shoot.
shocker, man.
They want to shoot in a, if it's an AR gun, they like to put it in a bench rest and shoot it 100 yards. But when you ask them why they own the gun, they say it's their defensive rifle inside their house. But most of all their shooting is from a bench rest at 100 yards.
Because they all own mansions and yachts and
100 yards shot down the hallway.
100-yard
Happens all the
hallways.
time at my
Yeah,
house, man.
Happens all the time.
My house is 4,700 square feet. It's just the shape of 10 shipping containers all connected together. So,
That's actually pretty awesome.
yes, it's called a tube. So, hopefully those young ladies will join us for some training. And they could, I would encourage them to take the training with an open mind. Come ask questions like everybody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get real answers based off science and facts and videos and knowledge and all kinds of fun stuff. And then they can go right to the public whatever they want about it.
Yeah.
Because you and I aren't afraid of criticism, are we?
Not at all.
I like it, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably more people hating me now. Have we lost viewers since we
No,
started?
actually, I was going to tell you want to feel old?
What? Who's on there?
Remember I told you about Blake who said half the, 1/4 of the county? He says you actually have met him when he was 12.
You're kidding me, right?
And now he's a police officer, and you knew him when he was 12.
So he shopped at my store?
Yes.
Yeah. I've met people like, yeah.
Yep.
What's really funny, there's a guy, he doesn't come into my store much because he's a busy dad. He's a good guy. But there's a guy who came into my store when he got home from Afghanistan. And that would have been like when the locals here, about 2011, I think they came home. 2011, 2012, one of the locals.
The National Guard unit here?
Yeah, 133rd, I think was part of it, or the medical. Yeah. But anyway, he walks into my store, and I'm like, I know that name. I know this person. He was the ring bearer at my wedding.
Wow.
And I'm like, and he
Like
was
little guy, right?
super little guy at the one where you had to use blinky lights to get him to walk the right direction.
Yeah.
Bring the rings this way.
Follow the laser, little
Yes,
kitty.
yes. Like Spiegel. So anyway, that was eye opening. It's like, hey, I'm old when my ring bearer's in here coming home from combat to buy his gun.
Yeah.
So
Isn't that awesome, though?
yeah, it is, and it is. You're right that I've been in business 16 years at this store. I've been in business 16 years, and when you think about it, that's long enough to where you had little kids in the store that you remember, and you gave stickers to, or the little Glock keychains and stuff, and said, "Don't take that to school." And then they're coming in buying guns. I mean, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Seen a lot of people send their sons and daughters off to military.
You know what happens to me a lot?
You forget where you're at.
Well, that, but
Okay.
no, honestly, what happens to me a lot is I have lost my perception of age
Yeah.
because,
You mean how old people are?
well, yeah, because of my job and because of stuff I'm interested in and stuff, I guess I tend to hang around with a bunch of younger people.
Well, thank
And
you
I
for calling
forget,
me
yeah,
younger.
I know, it's very nice. And I forget that, like,
You're a grown-up?
I'm like 20 years
You know,
older
it's-
than most of these people.
you know,
and
it's-
I just forget. I'm like, hey, we're all like doing the thing here. But
Here's
I'm like,
what's
wow,
super funny
you
is-
could actually be my son. Actually, you could
Oh,
be.
that would be awesome.
I mean, I work with a couple guys that could, like, by age,
You
they
couldn't
could be
be
my,
my-
they could be my son.
Yeah, some of those people, not me. You would have had to have sex with a babysitter to be my dad. So
I'm not
Anyway.
talking about you. Why's everything got to be about you?
you just said you could be my son.
No, I didn't.
You held your hand
I
out.
said they could be.
Okay. You did.
What?
Everybody's listening right now. You just failed during this simulation. You lied,
Wow.
and then you lied about
I
lying.
lied. I'm going to jail.
But somebody asked me just like 2 days ago how old you were,
Mm-hmm.
and you know what's funny? Is I have no idea. I know that you have to be over 50 just to have done the things that you did and been the places at
My
the time
my
frames.
birthday's coming up. You only got like 2 weeks.
And so how old will you really be?
I'll make you do math. 1963.
Ooh, like it. Man.
Yeah. It's like I was born like
Wait.
a month before Kennedy was
I was
shot.
gonna say, we're
so
coming
they're
up
like,
close.
"Hey, where were you at when?" Well, I was sitting in this little baby thing on top of my grandma's stove.
Still
I
doesn't
think
mean you're innocent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
could have been anywhere.
Do we have any productive questions that we can talk
Well,
about?
I
other
have
than
I have a question for you.
Okay.
And everybody can hear me now. So
they can?
Yeah.
Yes.
The voice in the corner is worldwide.
when you have things like Antifa and people that get super offended really quickly, how are we to assume that people are going to take training and criticism well?
God, that's a deep question.
It is.
So let's go back and say there's when you say super offended,
Well, there's micro triggers.
Microaggressions.
Yeah.
people, yeah.
Look, that
well,
was a microaggression. I just threw my pen at you.
yeah, it could have poked my eye out.
Where are you from? That's a microaggression.
Yeah, I know.
Me asking you that.
You know, see, when I say I'm not a good guy to ask. So first of all, I don't think much of Antifa. I hope they hear that and talk all about me. I don't think much of the other. What are the other people supposedly out there being all mad at the world?
We're talking about the two groups recently.
Yeah, recently, where they claim to be Nazis, right?
Yeah, they're just white supremacist, Nazi
Yeah.
punk assholes.
Yeah, there you go. Those are some words.
Yeah.
I still am trying to look for a reason to say shit show. But anyway,
I already
Um,
said it. Too late.
so first of all, here's some generic advice I give every Wednesday in class. I wouldn't go anywhere near any of them or go to any of their rallies. I wouldn't even show up with a camera to take pictures.
You know what blew me away?
What?
There's people out there trying to defend some people that attended this rally, saying, "Hey, they're just good conservative folks that were trying to go to this."
Yeah.
If you saw the advertising or promotional posters,
Mm-hmm.
it was 100% Nazi imagery and concepts. Anybody that saw that poster and showed up to that,
No, not anybody. You know
yeah,
why?
anybody.
No,
Yeah.
not anybody. You ready? Do you know how many people under the age of 40 couldn't probably identify and tell you what the Nazi propaganda looks like?
You didn't let me finish though.
Okay, go.
Anybody that showed up to that thing after seeing that poster is an idiot. I don't
Okay.
care if they didn't know or not.
Yeah.
They're an idiot.
Yeah. I just simply don't choose
They
to go
they
anywhere
either
near.
agreed with it or they went there having no clue what was going on. Either way, you're an idiot.
So your deep question, so here's my generic answer, guy in the corner, special voice. My answer is typically the kind of people that come to training. Now, we just talked about a lack of people coming to training. But the kind of people that get to training, I would say there's like a 0.0001% of them that get triggered at such small, simple things. And so that's a good attribute about them. But I don't worry about if people say, oh, can you imagine guns in the hands of some of these people? Well, look at the one Nazi asshole waving the gun around at the top of the stairs.
Oh yeah,
Remember that video?
yeah,
I said it was
the
right around
gray-haired guy with
yeah,
the long hair,
right
and
around the 314 mark. You know?
with his drop leg holster.
See? Hey, and the girl that went through the simulation video can listen to me criticize the other guy. So first of all, he probably legally is in possession of the gun, or he wouldn't be on the national news waving it around, right? He
We can assume, I guess.
He also probably, I look forward to him probably being charged with brandishing a firearm.
Sure.
At first, and I'm just going to say based off, we don't know anything that happened like specifically to him in the seconds that lead up to that. You hear people yelling things in huge crowds. I'm just going to put it this way. He might have legally had a right, even as a Nazi asshole, to pull his gun and point it at people, telling them to stay back from him. As he backed out of there, ran away, and called the cops and said, I thought I was going to die, and maybe there's video of all the people that I thought were going to kill me, and I want to sign a complaint. How's that sound?
That sounds, I've been watching this show called The Flash on Netflix, and he creates a lot of alternate timelines, like Earth 1 and Earth 3 and 2. That sounds like something that would be, plausible on Earth 2, but I just think that guy was being an asshole.
No, I mean, that's what I'm saying is, if somebody says, you're telling me I can't, now, because you're going to have people that say.
So I suppose that could have been possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say, let's talk about plausibility, right?
Yep.
Is it possible for you to be on the side of the road changing your tire and multiple vehicles roll up and outpours a bunch of young kids? I don't care, race, color, creed, nothing. And they surround you and start asking you what's up and this and that. And give me your keys to your car and this and that. And they're literally surrounding you. We're talking like 10 to 1. Would you pull a gun on a group of people like that surrounding you?
If you're a Los Angeles police officer and you're in your front yard and they're in your hedges, yes.
Yeah, well, if you put your finger on the trigger and try to lift a kid over the hedges, there's this thing called the grasping reflex.
Anyway, I'm making light of this because yes.
And all I'm saying is it legal to pull a gun?
You could. If you could articulate your, what you're feeling at that time.
Sure. If I'm surrounded by a bunch of people that appear to want to do me harm, absolutely I would have my gun out. I'm not going to wait to start being beat unconscious to get it out. Am I going to wave it around like a crazy dude? No. Maybe keep it close to my body. Maybe get your finger off the trigger, right, Mr. Shoot Over the Hedge? Is that a Disney movie? Shoot Over the Hedge?
I mean, I know you're being very...
And all I'm trying to say...
You're being truthful.
I'm being truthful as in what the guy did in the video that we're talking about is wrong.
Yeah, sometimes it just is what it is. I mean, we all can see with our eyes, right?
And as much as when I say I don't judge them, I think there's open-minded people up here. The Nazi asshole dudes, or however you described them, they had a permit to go speed.
Punk assholes, what I said.
They got a permit. They did everything legal. And when I say did everything legal, as in to go assemble, it was a shit show. There's my use of once it started, right? But I absolutely think that they can go sit out there and say whatever they want and use words, right, Mr. Trigger Guy? Because if you're going to let words drive you crazy and hurt people, you got way bigger issues.
Yeah, no, agreed. I mean, and there's a lot of things going into that situation that happened. It was like kind of a perfect storm of things that go wrong. You had those guys that obviously want to inflame people, legal or not. And we all know they're protected under the First Amendment.
Yep.
They got their rights. They did it legal. And then you have the other side, how did you guys say?
Antifa.
I always say Antifa, so I guess I've been saying it wrong. The friggin'
they rhyme with something else.
I just call them communists. So because I am old enough to remember when communism was bad.
Yeah.
Like really bad.
Still is.
Like hide under your desk at school because they might bomb you bad. I remember those guys.
Because you were born in 1963.
Yeah, 1963.
There was a president shot shortly
Cuban
after
Missile
that.
Crisis.
Yeah.
Remember that.
There you go.
So anyway, the communists, they came with no permit, with no, legal really right to be there, looking for trouble. And then, and I'm not talking bad about cops. I'm just telling you what I read in the newspaper, that maybe the police presence was not what it should have been.
And here's the other question. Here's what's funny about that. Not what it should have been, right? How many times, what do you call them? Antifa? Aren't they famous for bitching about the cops being there while they're marching?
Yeah, I think they have been.
So, in all I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to defend the police there, and I'm not throwing them under the bus. It's kind of funny that when something goes bad, it's where with the police. When it's a whole bunch of police around and nothing goes bad, it's, oh, well, we feel intimidated because you have so many officers around, we can't say what we want to say. Or, Black Lives Matter March is where the shooting happened in July, or, down in Texas, right?
Yep.
So you had people that appreciated them being there, and you had people that didn't. And you had a guy that wanted to kill a bunch of them. So here's my factual thing to people, and this is, I just literally, somebody can go prove me wrong. The whole world is stirred up. Let's say the United States. They want to blame the president, literally. True. Are they saying the president isn't doing anything and he's flaming he's stoking the fire under this whole mess? That's so stupid to sit and blame the president for two groups of people that can't get along with each other. And when people want to say, oh, that's true, this guy's full of shit. Let me describe this to you. You want to know what looks a lot like those clashes where a guy used a car to run over some people and he killed one, right? And it's sickening. It's sickening.
Yep.
But, hey, how many people have been shot outside a Oakland Raiders football game after the football game while two groups of people clash. Just last year. Why don't you give me the 2016 death statistics on people killed in the parking lot post NFL football games? Are the two teams opposing teams?
They are.
Do they talk shit to each other and start a fight on the field sometime?
They do.
Do their fans start shit with each other sometimes?
Yeah.
And sometimes they kill each other.
Apparently.
So if we're going to start saying, you know, is the president supposed to fix that? Is the president going to fix the violence that happens in the parking lots of NFL football games? I literally hope that somebody thinks I'm an idiot and goes to prove me wrong and looks up how many people were killed at NFL football games.
But don't you think? And I'm gonna
shot and injured.
I'm gonna take your positions
'Kay.
because usually you're like
You're devil's
the
advocate?
devil's advocate.
Go for it.
advocate for me. I'm gonna be devil's advocate for you.
Go for it.
Don't you think he has a moral responsibility to do something or to say something and not make it worse by this? I mean, some of the statements he's said in the last few days are.
Oh, I love that you're saying this. Bring it on. Here we go.
Dumb.
Some of his statements are dumb, but is anything wrong about saying both sides share responsibility?
No.
There you go. That's all I needed. Both of those groups share responsibility that they don't act like grown-ups and they can't even
What took him so long to condemn the Nazis or anybody?
See, I'm going to stick up and say, okay, I don't know what news you watch, but he spoke about it immediately.
I watch his preferred form of
There you go.
communication, which is the Twitter.
There you go. So because it took him 3 hours to say the group's name instead of
2
just saying,
days, man.
I'm going to say day one. Go find it on day one. So let me ask you this. Is there anything, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything the president can say to either of those two groups of people that's legal and that you would agree with or America would that will stop them from hating each other?
No. I'm not saying
Then
he
my
can't.
question is, how can he fix it?
I'm just saying he needs to say something and be presidential, which has been my complaint about him for months. So the guy that says, I have to get all the facts before I talk, rarely gets all the facts before he talks.
Sometimes.
So he's
Oh, totally true. I'll give you that.
right. So he's
But in
being
the long
disingenuous,
run- in
which
the
is my
long
fancy word to say he's a liar.
I'm going to go back to in the long run. What can he personally do to change the hate in those people's hearts?
He can't do anything personally.
No. It doesn't matter what he
So
say.
he shouldn't do something?
Let me ask you this. If he somehow, hey, you seen Old School? Seen that movie? All right. Okay. Remember when Will Ferrell like snaps and goes into his other personality and takes on the Raging Cajun? If President Trump became that smart tomorrow and said all the perfect things for you, would it solve what's going on in this country?
Probably not.
Would it make the people that hate him all of a sudden say he's an acceptable president?
I think that boat has sailed. I don't think anybody's ever going to
is
say
there a-
the people that hate him.
Is there a large portion of the country, and by large I mean less than half because he did win the presidency legally?
Sure.
Is there still millions of people that don't like him no matter what he says and how
Yeah,
awesome
that's what
it
I'm
is?
saying. I'm agreeing with you. They're probably not going to get their minds changed.
Is there a huge mass amount of people in this country that aren't happy no matter what?
There are some, yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to say all those people are the problem. Like, I've said it before.
I disagree, man.
No.
I disagree.
I've said it before.
If you're a leader of the free world, you need to act like the leader of the free world and not like some child who doesn't get his ice cream cone after Sunday school.
Okay, totally true. All that's true. Is he going to make your or my life personally better?
No, I mean philosophically, no.
No. Does he change or anything he says or the best president ever? I don't care if you liked Clinton, did you like Obama, who do you like, whoever?
Yeah, I'm a well-known lib.
Okay. So, did anything they say make you have the mentality to go be in the special forces?
No.
And did they make you have the mentality that when you got out, you decided to have like 5 jobs and your schedule's a pain in the ass to try to do things with you?
No.
That guy knows too. Over there.
No.
So,
It's not all me, man.
I know. But so here's the point. Like I told many people, if you're counting on any government entity to make, let's say administration, because there are people that count on government entities like, hey, I get a government assistance and I need this check to move on with life and to live my life, whether they spend that money responsibly or not. If you're counting on an administration of our government to change the quality of your life, you got a problem. You
I
really
agree.
do.
I agree.
So all I'm trying to say is instead of trying to change
you
it
need to
from
go back
Trump
to the golden
down,
rule, though.
instead of trying to change it from Trump down, why don't we start at the bottom and go up?
Well, the golden rule applies to everybody, and the golden rule is don't be an ass clown.
Yeah.
Well, he's failing at that.
He's only an ass clown sometimes. Sometimes he's a nice guy.
No.
I thought the golden rule was do unto others as you would have them do unto
not my golden rule.
I'm wrong. I must
Yeah.
be
Not my
I've
golden
heard it
rule.
wrong.
Now you're getting biblical and stuff, man. Do we take a break here?
No.
Tell people we're sponsored by Purple Monster?
Yes.
Yeah, sooner or
Purple
later
Monster
they'll catch on.
and Peach Monster.
This has got to be the most boring show ever for the people out
No,
there.
I think, look, people
Star
are calling me
McNeil.
out. People said I did say, my wife says I'm 56, which I'm not. I'm going to be 54 if you can't do math.
Oh, my God. She's in trouble.
I told her no comments this time, but she
Why
couldn't.
did Max Hubbard say you did Mike?
Apparently, I called you my son.
Oh.
I don't even remember saying that. But see,
sounds better
that's why you should take 72 hours before making your statement, because I was getting passionate there and
Oh, wait.
misspoke.
Oh, wait. You guys should look more at the camera and less into each other's eyes.
Doesn't that guy
hope-
got work to do? Unload the UPS truck, John.
No, he's not at work today.
Oh, damn it.
He's out shopping at Goodwill because I have eyes everywhere. He's going to chime in now and ask me how I know that. He thinks I'm ripping on Goodwill. I'm not. I actually had somebody call and say I'm standing in line right behind your employee.
Uh-huh.
He doesn't have very good awareness.
Doesn't have very good awareness.
That's what they were saying. They were actually on the phone behind him saying I'm standing
Talking
right
about
behind
him?
you.
Like, it's hilarious.
Yeah. All right, you ready? Oh,
Here we
this
go.
guy. Are you going to come to it or not?
I really, tell me about it. I don't know what training you're talking about.
Let's do it.
Combat focused shooting. It's an 8.5 hour defensive pistol class that anyone that can point a gun in the safe direction to start out with, we can teach them. That's why I want you there, because we're going to, which by the way, I told Julie before I left the store I was going to do this. I just forgot to write it in your notes. So here we go.
My notes.
I want the guy that puts on this show. Yeah, here you go. I want the guy that puts on this show to show up. And you ready? Yeah. Here's my offer to you, because you treat us well.
All right, I'm here. I got my voice on. People can hear me.
There
I'm
you go.
being held accountable.
So the class is from 9 until 5:30. And I don't know if you own a firearm or not. If you don't, we'll provide one for you. And you know what? People out there that I'm staring at the camera that want to see my eyes, let me get this out of the way in case that one guy thinks that I look better with it. Guy in the corner, you would have to admit, I don't even know if you own a gun or not, do I? I have no idea.
No, you have no idea.
So I will let you borrow one if you don't have one. I do know that in the past you've handled firearms, and again, thank you for your service, because you were like one of those guys like Mike. Did you jump out of airplanes too?
Yes, sir.
Oh my God! You guys-
Yesterday was National Airborne Day.
Why weren't you guys drinking together?
We're working.
Well,
Okay.
That was working.
Okay, so I want you to come to that
We
class.
said with enthusiasm.
I want you to come to the class, and I don't know if I'm allowed
right,
to
where-
call you by name.
Where's the class at?
Here we
Yes,
go.
Sure,
Just-
sure you
Okay,
can.
we're the class is at Northland Fishing Game in Central City, Iowa. I can give you the actual address. but-
20-minute scenic drive.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
So it's from 9 to 5:30, and a person needs about 500 to 600 rounds to do it. So here's what we're gonna do. I want you to go, and I'm not gonna charge you, and I will even I'll subsidize your ammo for you.
Nope.
Okay?
No,
What do you mean, no?
I really appreciate it, but I would love to take the class, and I do believe that Sunday, I am totally available to do it. So
You're gonna be able to do it.
yeah,
I'm
Yep.
super excited
I'm,
now.
I'm even more excited than I was when I walked in here.
Yeah, and that's hard to believe.
It
other
is
than the table's leaning
because
underneath
you
side
know
of it.
I'm always excited about something.
So, here we go. I want you to think of something. We're just going to generically fly by the seat of our pants. Do we ever do that at Cedar of Outfitters in 18 Zulu?
Sometimes,
Yeah, sometimes.
like we just did for the last 20 minutes. You know,
I want.
we've
if-
been on the air for almost an hour already. That went pretty quick.
we better hurry up.
The
then.
first 10 minutes was just the 10-minute countdown.
Yeah. So, how much time do we even have, Mr.
Well,
Voice
you
in
have
the
you
corner?
have another 10, 15 minutes.
Awesome.
I?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Here we
got stuff
go.
to talk about.
What's the question?
Here's my point. We do have stuff to talk about. Is I want somebody out there that's watching live to hurry up and get a hold of us. Is I'm going to let some other people go to that class free Sunday. I want a veteran who has had no training since they've been out of the military to come take that class, and you can go for free.
Pretty generous offer.
I want a female that has had no formal firearms training. And when they say, well, I went to a concealed carry class, that's fine. I mean formal on-the-range firearms training. You can come to that class for free. You're going to have to get a hold of us today. It's going to be like first come, first serve. And then what's another, what I really want to encourage is someone out there that considers themselves that they don't need any training, that they're super trained. Let's see what person will chime in and say that thinks they've been everywhere and done everything, which is awesome because we could watch them perform and learn from them and ask questions. And I want somebody that considers themselves highly trained to come to that class, and they can go for free.
So I'm going to break in real quick because I want to answer Lonnie's question. Lonnie says,
Answer.
what do you need to take this class? A good attitude, a handgun if you have one, a good holster, and a good belt and your ammunition. That's all you need.
Yeah, it's going to take you about 500, 600 rounds of ammo, but I could provide the gun and the holster and the belt and all that even. You need 3 double-stack magazines or 5 single-stack magazines to get through it so you're not standing on the line. Tierney Rowe, she says it's great.
Yeah, because she's
Then
been to
she
it.
should be there.
She has been there.
All right, we're going to see. Somebody wrote, I'll go. I want to see who claims which one they are. Who's the veteran that hasn't had any training since? Who's the person that thinks they're super trained? Who's my female that has no formal training that wants to go?
Right.
And why don't you, Shane, pick a person to bring with you? Why don't you bring an extra person?
Oh, if I could pick.
And I like that you're actually going to use all your own stuff, because then, and I like that public heard that, because then you don't owe me anything. You can say whatever you want about it. I want you to be
completely.
I want you to
impartial.
be Honest Friday.
Honest Friday.
Honest Friday.
So what else are we going to talk about?
Really, there's not much to talk about. You talked about Nazis.
We
talked
talk about
the-
Barcelona, though. I want to make some points about Barcelona.
Let's talk about Barcelona, because you only have like 10 minutes.
So here's my points about Barcelona. So you already brought up they use new tech. So if you don't know what happened in Barcelona, you've been living under a rock. Some terrorist attacks happened in Barcelona, Spain, and some other towns around there. Right? There's actually
They killed some of
three.
them.
There's actually 3 different places. So
They killed them before it happened.
right.
I like it.
So the first thing is they employed some new tactics. They did the old serpentine, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some medical training would have been nice for those people if you've seen that the video.
Mm-hmm.
But reading about it, one of the guys that they're charging claims that his ID was stolen.
By his younger brother.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings up 2 points for me. Terrorists will use stolen IDs. So if you're a person that loses your ID,
Mm-hmm.
don't just blow it off.
No.
In today's kind of environment, that's a serious thing, especially if you work anywhere that's got access control.
Mm-hmm.
You need to let somebody know if your ID is missing more than, I'd say, 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side of that, people use false IDs or stolen IDs to get goods and services. So if you work in that kind of industry, you need to be vigilant of those things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Let me ask you this theoretical question.
yep.
If you were, what do we got coming up here? Thanksgiving. Is there a Thanksgiving parade in Cedar Rapids? I know there's a.
I don't know.
St. Patty's Day one's pretty
Yeah,
big.
I think for sure there is.
Okay, so if you're standing around in a parking lot, staging area, that happens. You know what I mean? At the beginning of fairs, or I'm sorry, at the beginning of parades, they stage. They got to get everybody to one place. So,
Yeah.
or you're actually at the parade and there's several hundreds of people just in one block line the streets with you. Should you maybe spend the extra 5 or 10 seconds of mental attention and look at like the Penske or U-Haul truck that's sitting at the corner?
Yeah, you should be kind of.
Like, does that make you you know how
Yeah,
there are
yeah,
people that say,
yeah.
now you want me to be worried about every U-Haul truck? No, I don't want you to be worried about every U-Haul truck. I want you to pay attention to a U-Haul truck that's parked at an event where there's a lot of people standing in an unprotected area.
Yeah, and it's not delivering or anything like that. Right.
Or if it starts to drive like the wrong way on a one-way.
Yeah.
If it's downtown and it does a U-turn, starts going back up a one-way, that would maybe. Now, what are you going to do to stop a U-Haul truck?
Well, it's not a lot I'm going to do.
Nope, there isn't. And there's not a lot anybody with like a firearm's going to do to stop a moving vehicle, but there is a lot of tactical ninjas that say it can be done. You guys are in the military. What did you use to stop vehicles?
Big concrete barriers.
Yeah. So we need to carry those with us.
Yes.
All right. So is that all you have to say about Barcelona?
Well, I mean, I had something else I was looking at. My wife just yelled at me, told me to get off my phone while I'm
Seriously?
on the podcast. She did.
So-
She's obsessed. She is obsessed. So she used her phone
Is
to
she
tell me
watching right
to
now?
get up.
She's watching right now.
Absolutely.
We are going
She's
to.
texting-
We're
she's
going to
texting me right now.
We're going to hold Sophie hostage, and we're never going to let her go or have doggy biscuits again if you don't leave Mike alone.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That's a problem.
She's probably going to drop in out of the sky from the parachute.
Yeah.
We don't have that many questions today. I want to take it with my wife, but I can't make it Sunday. Sean, everybody's going to say they can't make it. I know it's like a last minute thing for people. That's what makes it fun. That's what makes it free. All right.
So-
what do
so,
we have?
How'd those guys feel about DFC?
They liked it. And
Good.
I have an uplet. Look at this. Shane's going to say, why don't you tell people what kind of classes you got going on? You ready?
So do it.
You want to hear like everything we have going on?
Yeah, let's do it.
Is that part of the unsuccessfulness of CVO Gun Talk is not promoting things that we do?
Well, we're also going to have. There will be links to your training
Oh,
calendar.
I should send those to you right now.
Well, I can get it. I can
Yeah,
get the
you
link,
can
and I'll
get
put
it
on
because
there.
she's showing all my employees doing is showing me actually a picture of our website right now that has it all up there. We have carry class, like several of them. We have one next Thursday night. That one's on a Thursday because people say quit having them on Wednesdays. On October 14th, we have the 5-hour introduction class to pistols, which I love teaching like in October because it's nice and cool out. You're not sweating to death. Look, we have combat-focused shooting this Sunday in Central City, Iowa.
I want to.
You have combat-focused shooting
in Traer
in August 26th. That's coming up fast in Traer.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you Waterloo / Cedar Falls / Hudson, Hudson / Dyke, Parkersburg people, that if you don't take advantage of Mike coming to Traer, Iowa, and teaching an 8.5-hour class for $200, like in your backyard, basically, you're crazy not to take him up on that.
So,
if that doesn't go well, we're kind of done doing that, aren't we? That's a shame.
I'm not going to say we're done because I really like the facility
maybe two times a year.
And Greg is really a great guy.
I love Greg.
Yeah. So he's very generous.
I don't like Greg as much as the guy that stayed on our floor that was the stranger in the hotel room. Greg is a great guy. His family's a great guy. His son, competitive shooter. His wife, great attitude, right?
Yep,
she
absolutely.
jumped in, took learning from you.
Yep.
Learning. There's something. I'm the decider.
Learning was had.
You have rifle class. Oh, that reminds me. Do I have 5 more minutes, Shane? 2 more minutes?
Yeah,
Here we go. You have combat-focused carbine on October 29th. So you need to attend combat-focused shooting, as in the handgun class, to go to combat-focused carbine. Why is that?
Because the concepts and principles kind of are interchanged, but you need to learn the concepts and principles using a handgun as the platform rather than a rifle. So it's just kind of the way it's set up.
Because somewhere along the way, your rifle's going to run dry and you're going to have to transition to a handgun.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you've had people in an entire class not putting racing legs down their thighs with their gun.
Right.
There.
Yeah.
It wasn't a very sexy way to say it, but I said it. But here's another thing. So I know I'm going to go back to the store and make a video because I'm fat and bald and I look good on video. But Lewis Machine and Tool, awesome company. They donated a rifle to the Iowa Firearms Coalition, the people that actually get things done and fight for your Iowa gun rights here in Iowa. Kurt and the guys over there. So they're doing a raffle for an LMT rifle. It's really nice. The Defender 2000, I believe it's called. And it's sitting in my store right now for probably a week or so before I send it off to the next person. The raffle tickets are $10 a piece or 3 for $25. And Kurt from Iowa Firearms Coalition doesn't even know I'm going to do this too. But here's my deal. So let alone, they're going to give that gun away here in September, I think in the middle of the month, over at Brownells, where they're going to have like some very cool special guests. And you can go read about it. And that's where they're going to draw for the gun. What I want to tell people, and maybe they can't take advantage of it right away, or maybe they can. Whoever wins that Lewis Machine and Tool rifle in the Iowa Firearms Coalition raffle, I'm going to send them to your class for free.
Man.
I think it'd be cool.
Also very
And when they say, hey,
generous.
I can't go to that because I have to take combat focused shooting first, I'm going to give them that class for free too. So they get $450 worth of classes along with their $2,000 rifle they won for a $10 ticket.
That's crazy.
And we'll do a story about them. We'll see
That's
how
awesome.
well they perform with it.
All right.
They'll be in class with some dude with a $600 AR that shoots just fine too, and they can all be friends. People with different mindsets can be friends.
They can be.
They can be.
All right.
They don't have to be, what do you call them? Racist assholes.
Racist.
And run over each other with cars or hit each other with flagpoles.
No.
That was a very violent video I sent you.
It was.
Yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on there I didn't see on the national news. On both sides of that, by the way. I'm just saying in the video I watched, both sides were being violent.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to agree on that.
They need to like just sprinkle some happy pills down there and let all these people go to sleep or something, or hand out
Well,
pot
I mean,
brownies or
bottom
some
line
other
is
way to
there's a
deal
bunch
with
of
it.
idiots in this country.
Do you think
you know.
Nazis eat pot brownies? Anybody? That could be the most important thing we ask all day.
Well, we know that Hitler, what was he taking? Was he taking like downers or something? I don't know.
That was just one of the many things Hitler was taking. What Hitler shouldn't have taken was like a blow to the head before World War I. So if the world had no Hitler, it'd be a better place.
I wouldn't be able to make videos on
Write
YouTube.
a book about that. Hey, your buddy. Can we name names? Yeah, there's a book he should write. He should write about going back in time and assassinating Hitler and what a better world we'd have now.
That's a concept.
It is a concept.
It is.
Is that like your Flash thing when there's
Yeah,
world?
different timelines.
So in that world, was it acceptable?
I don't know. They haven't done an episode on it yet.
So basically, we spent like an hour and a half minutes discussing that most people in the gun world don't want to train. Now, before everybody gets offended, isn't that also like saying most people in any other activity
but it's
group
Honest
don't
Friday.
wanna
It's
train?
HF, man. We
Sure.
don't care if they're offended.
Sure. And when people say, "Oh, well, most people in jiu-jitsu don't want to train," that's different. That's not true, right?
That's, I would say it's not
you
true.
don't own a jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
You don't buy 10 more of those and have in your closet or get one handed down
No.
from your grandpa.
If you make the commitment to do that or any other martial art, you're pretty much made the commitment to train.
I know some
Otherwise,
of
you
the
wouldn't do
people
it.
really good at that. What's his name? Jason Clark?
Yeah.
I think he even talks
We
about.
should. I was thinking about him. We should
gonna-
have him on the show.
We're going to have him on here. He has cool tattoos and big bulgy arms.
And he's very, very articulate.
Yes. And he's a badass dude, isn't he?
Absolutely.
And
That-
he believes that you
yeah.
should train with a firearm.
Yes.
That's weird.
Yes.
Wow.
Why don't you promote the jiu-jitsu club that you go to?
Yes, Mike, tell the world about him.
Well, I'll tell you what I know. So
Iowa
I go
City.
to Iowa City Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu in Iowa City. Jason Clark's our coach. Awesome dude. Very realistic. Great teacher.
Good.
There, I promoted him.
Yeah, we definitely need to get him on here. So one of these days, we're going to have the semicircle round table filled with people from kind of like our industry / like hands-on people. Maybe, it'd be fun to have other people here.
Yeah.
I would like to have some other instructors on here that are from outside this area because we know so much about this area to see what's going on. I think that would be awesome. So if anybody out there is like from anywhere in Iowa or maybe close by in Wisconsin, Minnesota, we need to have you on there so we can talk about what you're seeing in your area and see. Maybe there's people that don't want to get out here in front of public and say most of the gun world won't train, but I'll say it. And when people say, here's what's funny, I've told you before, I said, is there ramifications when I start telling people the truth? When you own a business, is there
Yeah,
ramifications?
I imagine there is.
There's a lot of haters, but guess what? They don't shop at my store. They don't actually shop at my store.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say easily 75% of the people you've ever seen physically in a class training at your class, they're from my store.
Sure.
As in they shop there.
Absolutely.
So I'll worry about making those people happy and try to make some new friends. But I'm not going to make new friends by lying to you about how awesome you did in the video.
Got to keep it real. We got any more questions?
Shane, magical question? Nothing? Oh, he's panicking. He's got a last minute one.
Julie Potts kind of corrected you guys on a class.
We do not have a class next week. That's not true because I told a guy we would have a class next Thursday from 6 to 11.
And because you said it,
Let's
it's got to
argue.
be true,
Yeah,
right?
Let's argue.
No.
Is that not the 24th?
You
It
don't-
is the 24th.
You don't argue with Julie.
It's not on paper, but we're having it.
You don't.
because
You don't argue with
There's,
Julie.
there's a guy bringing his daughter and
That's
some
like
other
the number
friends.
one rule of Fight Club, right there.
Don't argue with Julie?
Yeah.
Did she talk back to you last weekend?
I don't know.
No, she hid in the corner.
All right, one more time.
Yes.
Tell people what they need to bring for Sunday's class.
If you're coming to Sunday's class, you should be there by 8:45 in the morning. You should wear like clothes that have belt loops.
Sturdy shoes. You can do it in flip flops, but I'm just suggesting.
No flip flops, no open-toed
No?
shoes where you drop hot brass down into them. I said hot brass, but anyway, a decent pistol, a decent holster to put it in. If you don't have one, you can borrow it. 3 double-stack magazines or 5 single-stack magazines, and I don't know, 400 to 700 rounds of ammo.
Yeah.
We can kind of tune the ammo usage depending on how hard you start riding the trigger later, but
Yep.
500 rounds is pretty good.
Yep.
And an open mind.
Yep.
And sunscreen, but we have it.
Yep.
Bug spray, but we have it.
Water.
Hearing protection, eye protection, but we have it. We got water. We have an air-conditioned clubhouse. We have nice, clean bathrooms. We eat at Subway. I mean, what could be better? It's going to be
Nothing.
87 degrees and sunny.
Be awesome.
We have a shade tent, and we're going to have the super cool guy from the corner
Be
join
awesome.
us.
Awesome. If
Yeah.
I said awesome enough,
All right.
awesome.
Do I need to sign off now?
Yeah.
Is this the official thing? Where, oh, you know what? We forgot to tell people out. Watch out for the red Chevy truck.
Peace out.
Peace out.